the person that gave HIV to me, the person that I contracted it from, it's weird because I was so certain of this, and then something got in my head and made me wonder. Okay guys, it's Monday, and well, it's not actually Monday, but you're gonna see this on a Monday. It's actually Thursday, and I'm filming this from Aptos High School. I'm alone in a classroom, a math class, for a couple hours, so I wanted to do this now while it was quiet and I had the time. My daughter just sent me a photo. So first of all, I wanted to say that these Monday vlogs was me trying to get back in touch with my subscribers, because my subscriber viewing is so darn low, but it's starting to go up. And I have to say, I've got to give a shout out to Showgirls Around the World, a Dancer Family. That's her YouTube title. She's really been encouraging me to do this. Well, she says I should do it every day, but that's really hard to do when you are a single mom with 3 kids and you're working full time, and it's just a lot. So I'm doing this once a week and trying to do it more if I can. But I wanted to give a shout out to her for being so supportive and encouraging and so awesome, and also saying, do the lives. So I'm doing a live tonight with Eric, although when you see this, it will already have happened. But it'll be there on my channel if you want to check it out. So I know they save them after, so it'll be there on my channel. I also want to give a shout out to Dark Core Studio. That's another person who wrote in on my video last time, and his name is Quinn. He's HIV positive, and he just wanted to add to kind of my last video. It wasn't a vlog, it was the video that I did on will there be a cure for HIV. So I got a couple things wrong that I just wanted to clarify. So I had talked about how the virus hides in these reservoirs, and this CRISPR technology was supposed to bring them out and then kill them. You know, it like wakes it up and then brings it out of the reservoir and then it zaps it. So that's actually not the CRISPR technology. That's actually called kick and kill. And the CRISPR technology, or gene therapy is what it is. It would take some of your cells and then they would modify them with this CRISPR technology and create cells that HIV cannot attach to. So the so-called CCR5 receptors on the immune system cell surface, and therefore HIV no longer has a means to replicate and would actually be done. This would be a functional cure, and that's the CRISPR technology. Kick and kill is different. It's bringing them out, waking them up, activating them again, these particles that are hiding and laying dormant. So, and then something that I didn't explain, and I'm also going to include, I don't know what side this is going to show up on, but I'm going to include the video. If you click the link in the corner, the little white dot, Wade Scherer, he's from South Africa, he's an advocate, and he's HIV positive advocate, and he does Positive Vibes Only. He put together this really cool video, animated video, basically explaining what's his drawings, and I'm explaining the whole replication of HIV and what actually happens with the virus in the body and how it replicates. So, but back to Quinn, I just wanted to, he kind of wrote like a nice explanation of what actually happens when HIV enters the body and how it becomes part of your system. So he basically said HIV has a 3-stage replication process, technically called integrase, protease, and transcriptase. If you've had biology or microbiology or any of these, those terms all are familiar because we know about RNA and DNA replication. Those are all terms that we've used before. He says, and the medication places barriers in these stages. So that's why we take 3 medications from what my doctor told me. They used to just do 1. And they found with these 3 separate medications, they hit it at every stage, I'm pretty sure. And that's why it's so damn effective, except for just these last particles that go dormant and we can't get to them. So he says viral load goes down to levels where today's labs can't measure it. And basically, we kind of look HIV negative, although it's still there, obviously. And he says normally that would be enough to end the virus, but HIV is clever, so it makes a reservoir in your body and stays. And that was what I was talking about. So this is straight off of Wiki, and it says when HIV infects a cell, it first attaches to and fuses with the host cell. Then the viral RNA is converted into DNA, and the virus uses the host cell's machinery to replicate itself during a process called reverse transcription. So it's, it gets in there and it uses the host, everything that's in there working as a cell, to make its own new copy. So the new copy of HIV then leaves the host cell and moves on to infect other cells. So it's, it knows what it's doing. It's a real little asshole. It gets in there and takes over. That's basically how HIV works. So I thought that would be just to give a little bit more of a scientific background on the virus and how it works in the body. A couple other things. I thought I'd answer a question. Did I have, leading up to my diagnosis, did I have irregular menstrual cycles or hair loss? I don't remember having anything irregular. Really don't. But I was having spotting before I contracted HIV, because I know it was 2013 and I had something called a ablation procedure where they basically burn the inside of your uterus all the way through so that it's just becomes scar tissue inside and you can't become pregnant, and it also stops your period or if you have any spotting issues. So I did that back in like 2010, I think it was. I still have my period, believe it or not. It's just not like it used to be. It's like barely there. So sorry for the TMI, but I do, and everything's normal and regular. So hair loss, no, I didn't have any hair loss. The hair loss did happen, although after I got better from having AIDS, because I had been so sick. And I think that's probably true with any kind of illness. If you get really ill, and then as you get better, there's hair loss. I know with pregnancy, it was the same way. It's like your body goes through this massive transformation, and then like all of a sudden all your hair starts coming out. And I don't know what's going on in the follicle or deep in there, but my gosh, I had gobs coming out after I got better. Like I remember my hairdresser being like, wanting to recommend all these things for my hair. And like, I don't know, I kind of felt like, no, this is just temporary. It's going to be fine. And it was. My hair's fine now. I don't have any problems with hair loss anymore. Another thing that had come up, which is, it's weird because I was so certain of this and then something got in my head and made me wonder if I was wrong. Okay, so the person that gave HIV to me, the person that I contracted it from, we met in 2009, actually, and we hung out during the summer of 2009. Not as boyfriend, as girlfriend. We lived far away from each other, and we saw each other, I don't know, 6 times maybe during a summer, and then we didn't see each other anymore. Anyways, we got back together in 2013, and that's when we had like a relationship, and we lived together, and that's when I contracted HIV. But all of a sudden it hit me, and I don't know why, because I thought I was pretty certain of this when I was diagnosed, that I thought I'd had a test. And so all of a sudden I had this like weird feeling like I know I had a test, but I wasn't totally sure. And all of a sudden I started kind of freaking out that maybe I had this since 2009 and not 2013. So I had my doctor, it was about 3 weeks ago, get a hold of my medical records from a doctor's office that I actually used to work at. And yes, I had a test in 2011 and it was negative. So I know for sure that I got it in 2013, for sure. And the other thing that's really interesting is we had been together for January through till August, the end of August. And like I said, I don't remember having any signs or indications of having any problems until September, which tells me that we were together nearly 8 months before I was infected. But he had it the whole time, for sure, because we know where he got it from. And so it was drug use. It was a girl that he had lived with in Los Angeles, and they had shared needles. He thought he'd been very careful. Apparently you can't be very careful with needles. You don't share them. So anyways, he thought he'd been very careful, but he knew, and that's what he told me at the time when we were together. It's kind of like complicated, but I believed him. He didn't think he had it. He was certain that he'd tested, and he thought he had tested negatively. And it was kind of this weird, like, well, I guess I can test again if you want me to. But he seemed so certain that he didn't have it that I didn't push it. And to be quite honest, I know this sounds really trite and stupid, and looking back, it's like, so hindsight is 2020, but he didn't have any money, and he was like basically saying, if you want me to do this, you're gonna have to pay for it, but I don't know what it's gonna cost. And I was already like, single mom with 3 kids, and I didn't know what it would cost. I'm like, I had no idea. So stupid. I didn't even like research it. I just took his word for it, and because he was so certain. And if he thought he had it, he for sure would have been proactive about doing something about it, but he really didn't think he had, so I went with that. So that's what happened there. But what's interesting is that I'm pretty sure I did not contract it until the end of our relationship, which means I was exposed for a long time and didn't get it, because my first signs didn't show up until September, when I had that really horrific headache for like 4 days and the esophageal discomfort, and went to a gastroenterologist, and yeah, he had no idea what was wrong with me. He told me to drink less coffee. It wasn't coffee. It was HIV, but how was he going to pick up on that? So yeah, I mean, it basically confirms without a doubt that you can have AIDS in less than 7 to 10 years. I mean, it happened to me in 2.5 years. So because a lot of people say, that it definitely takes 7 to 10 years. What happened? Why? I don't understand. It just can happen. I know it can lay dormant or quietly in someone's system for many, many, many years. I know people that have been HIV positive for 30 years and have never had a single symptom. And they went years and years and years back, got it back in the 90s and never had treatment. So it's amazing how everybody's body handles it differently. But mine definitely did go to AIDS in 2.5 years. It's really interesting, and I know other people that have had that happen to them also. I'm not alone. So it all depends on the person and how they're affected by the virus. Everybody's different. So the 7 to 10 year rule is maybe more common, but it doesn't mean it can't happen earlier. It definitely can. So that's it for this week. I'm definitely trying to be more proactive with my channel, and if you have questions for me, bring them to me, because I can answer them through these vlogs or a live. So that's all for now. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me and helping me get this channel to where it needs to be. I really am excited about where it might go and how I can use it to talk about you equals you, HIV stigma, just positivity in general. I think it's helpful, hopefully, for those out there who are feeling down and blue, and hopefully hearing a little bit about my life helps them, and that makes me feel good. So, okay guys, we'll see you later. Bye.